Right, hello. Today we got a video from Shoe0nHead. Is this the average male fantasy?
Men. What do they want? Money? Status? Fast, expensive cars?
Yes.
What is the ultimate male fantasy? Is it fame? Fortune? 3 hot chicks at once? Haha, hell yeah, brother. No, according to men on the
I mean, to some degree, yes. Because you cannot have anything else without, well, money. Let's start with that.
internet, it's something a little more simple. This is literally just a fetish. I fucking hate men so much. Men are why we can't have nice things.
Pay attention to the fact that we don't actually see the faces of those that posted it. I can assure you, their hair is of a special color, let's just say red, blue. It's definitely not natural.
As I was working on an upcoming video, I made the terrible mistake of logging onto Twitter, where I saw this post. A montage from the
Right, 2 seconds.
of logging onto Twitter, where I saw this.
All men just have perverted fantasies. The average male fantasy. Actually just wanting to be loved. Yeah, that is despicable nowadays.
Post. A montage from the anime Josie, the Tiger, and the Fish, a movie about a college student who's assigned to take care of a paraplegic girl, and spoiler, eventually they fall in love. Many men were yearn posting in the replies of this tweet and talking about how they wish to fall in love and would love a relationship like this, while many others, mostly women, were absolutely f***ing disgusted at this. Why would a bunch of men be fantasizing about being with a woman in a wheelchair? Seems pretty creepy and predatory, right? Also just unrealistic and problematic. Well, in this video,
The only unrealistic and problematic part of this thing is that it's impossible. It's not going to happen. Like, relationship don't exist nowadays thanks to social media and, well, Tinder and shit. So yeah, it's unrealistic.
are going to be talking about why so many men resonated to that clip and this movie, and why so many people are so confused as to why. We are also going to be reading some absolutely unhinged tweets, as usual, to get to the bottom of why such a wholesome post turned into, once again, another battlefront for the ongoing, never-ending gender war. Men versus women, women versus men, the male loneliness epidemic, the female loneliness epidemic, the dealing with dating apps. Do men prefer thin women or curvy women? Brunettes or blondes? Do women like dad bods or fit men? Do they like beards or clean-shaven? Oh yeah, that reminds me. Let's quickly get into today's sponsor.
Before we get into today's sponsor, of course, I mean, we all know the data already shows exactly what both genders want. So there's not really a magical what do they want. It's just that the things that both of us want are just unrealistic to gain in today's economy.
Henson shaving. You ever just accept that some products are just garbage? Like, for years I thought ripping your tights on the first wear was just a part of being a human woman. We just accepted that. That's just how it is, sweetie. But that shouldn't be how it is. It's a bad design. And that's why I like Henson shaving. Because if you've ever used a multi-blade razor, you're probably sick of the irritation, the razor burn, the overpriced blades, and you probably think, that's just the way it is. But it doesn't have to be how it is. Thanks to Henson Shaving. Henson Shaving is on a mission to improve shaving, with no gimmicky subscriptions or moisturizing strips, but with real innovation and a focus on your skin's health. What really sets Henson apart is their engineering, with their Henson AL13 safety razor being manufactured in an aerospace machine shop that built parts for the International Space Station. This precision allows the blade to extend just 1/1000th of an inch beyond the shave plane, less than the thickness of a human hair. The razor prevents any bouncing or skipping, resulting in an irritation-free shave every time. And here's the best part, once you invest in a Henson razor, it's a lifetime purchase. The only thing you'll need to replace are the blades, which literally cost only 10 cents each. So once you own the razor, you'll be spending like $3 to $5 on blades, compared to the ongoing cost of buying expensive plastic cartridges. Henson's store offers a variety of colors and even a titanium version, so you can pick the razor that best fits your style. So if you're tired of razor burn and overpaying for blades, now is the perfect time to make the switch. Just head over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and add both a Henson razor and the 100 blades to your car, and then enter code SHOE at checkout to get the 100 blades for free with your purchase. Your skin, your wallet, and your environment will thank you. Big thanks to Henson Razor for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad, right? Now let's get back to the video. Now, I am not an anime connoisseur. In fact, I basically know nothing about anime. I am probably the most tourist of all the tourists. Yeah, hi. I have a question. Was the upskirt shot necessary in order to advance the plot? I watched Pokemon and Sailor Moon when I was a kid, and a few years ago I watched Beastars on Netflix. Legoshi, best boy. Not a furry, by the way. And honestly, that's about it for my anime consumption. Unless you're counting VTubers. If you're counting VTubers, I watch a lot of anime. But because of this
VTubers should not exist. It's a shame that they do. And no, they are not anime. They never will be. They never have been. They're just people who are clearly a bit, well, scared of showing themselves online. But to each their own.
Clip going viral, I watched Josie the Tiger and the Fish, and, well, I thought it was a good movie. I recommend watching it. I thought it was a really cute, good story. I only cried a little bit, and I completely understood what the tweet meant by calling it the average male fantasy. So, what was wrong with it? Why did this clip go so viral in such a negative way? Why were thousands of people angry at this post? Well, let us dilly-dally no longer and read some of these angry replies to get a better understanding of what the issue is, shall we? Wholesome male fantasy, and it's fetishizing a disabled girl for him to control. Oh no. They think, oh god, why? Always vulnerable, always happy, always needs you. Pretty perverted.
None of these things apply to someone on a wheelchair. Just because you cannot walk properly does not mean you're always vulnerable, always... I cannot... These people are clearly demented. That's all that can be said.
Where are these fan fictions coming from? There were like hundreds of tweets just like this. Why did they see a cute montage of a happy couple, a man and a woman happy, together? I know, unheard of. Why did they see that and then...
Well, in today's day, it is unheard of.
Immediately come to these conclusions. Like, as someone who actually watched the movie, Josie is not always happy, and she's absolutely not portrayed as some, like, vulnerable, ooh-woo, sex doll waifu.
Yes, but these people are not going to watch the entire anime, nor do they actually give a fuck about it. They just see 1 minute of something that they feel attacked by for whatever reason, and they will basically create an entire personality around this 1 minute trailer. You will not hear about them complaining about any other part of this anime because they will not even bother watching an episode.
She's boisterous, she kind of has a foul mouth, she's very sassy and headstrong, she like straight up calls him her servant, but she was also very depressed. She basically never left her house, she was basically a girl failure. As a former girl failure, I love to see representation in media. But they actually show her disability, like, not in a good way. Like, they don't romanticize it, they don't sugarcoat it. And I noticed, unlike a lot of movies, unlike a lot of romance movies, at least like the Hallmark kind, where it's like the stuffy male lead learning to live life from the quirky, cute female lead, he's already got his shit together. And she learns to live life from him. He encourages her to live her dreams, and in return, he learns to live life in a completely different way. And I thought that was really cool and sweet. Also, the animation was really good. Is anime good? Have I been sleeping on anime this entire time? His fantasy is that she becomes permanently disabled and helplessly dependent on him, but can still make him a sandwich.
Oh boy. Well, if you cannot walk and you're wheelchair bound, well, technically, yes, you are permanently disabled, but that does not stop you from doing just about anything in life. I mean, I'm sitting right now. Does that make me disabled? No, it doesn't. It just makes a bit things harder. Helplessly dependent, well, that's just fucking stupid. And what does making a sandwich have to do with not being able to walk? I'm sorry, but that's beyond ridiculous.
Sounds about right. Oh my god. After watching the movie, these tweets are even more insane. But even putting the movie aside, just seeing that like cute montage out of context, where the fuck are they getting this? These are very clearly just two happy people. But because the caption was the average male fantasy, their mind immediately goes to the darkest, worst faith interpretation of this.
That's actually a good point. Once you put a certain label on something, people will just automatically assume everything within it. They're not going to think, oh, wait, maybe something is different about it. They'll just see, as it said, average male fantasy. That's it. It has to be within this scope of reality. It's impossible to think of anything else for them. They will just focus on, okay, this is what this person is saying. I must find something within it that acknowledges this male fantasy thing, even though it doesn't actually exist.
The problem is these people can't see any humanity in men. They can't see any humanity in humanity in general.
Average male fantasy equals girlfriend with no agency who's completely physically dependent on you and forced into blanket subservience and compliance. Sounds about right. You males are weird for fetishizing.
Again, this is just stupid, and it's most likely written by someone that has never actually been in a relationship, because the fact that you're thinking of someone being together suddenly makes someone else subservient to one another is just ridiculous. You do things because you love one another. It has nothing to do with fetishizing someone that's disabled.
Physically disabled women.
In fact, if anything, they're the ones fetishizing that disabled woman because they're constantly comparing it to something sexual. Meanwhile, this guy was literally just smiling and being happy with her.
Average male fantasy is having a physically disabled girl that they can abuse however they want. Got it.
Oh boy. Not at one point in that trailer did we see her be abused. In fact, she was smiling, she was laughing. But again, these people most likely grew up without a father figure and are now just demented.
Not to be that guy, I'm gonna be that guy. The infantilization of the physically disabled here is a little, dare I say, ableist? The implication here that people in wheelchairs cannot find love, and if they do, the person who loves them literally just loves them because they can't run away. Weird.
Average men can't even be nice to their healthy and normal girlfriend. What makes you think they'll be able to handle disabled person as their...
Okay, this person is clearly hurt. Again, like you can see a pattern here. Every single one of these are not exactly right in their mind. Like, I mean, you can just read it yourself and see how fucking ridiculous this is. It doesn't need a comment.
their lover.
Whoa. Normal? What do you mean by normal? These people are just so ableist, chat. Can you believe it? Chat? I don't even live stream. Who's chat?
I'm disabled, blind, so I showed this to my boyfriend. He says, I love you because you're you, and you make my days happier. So what if I have to drive you places or help you with cooking and cleaning? I would have done that anyway. Disability has nothing to do with it. I love you.
I can already see a lot of people in the comments are probably pissed off about what he just said because it does not align with their worldview.
Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but, your boyfriend is a rapist. Sorry you had to find out this way.
You show this as fantasy because it's not true for the majority of men who participate in abuse of disabled people.
It's fantasy because it's literally anime. Like, what the fuck are you expecting it to be? It would be the same if it would just be a movie.
No, the fantasy is the woman appreciates his efforts to make her happy. Stop lying and abusing women and the disabled.
Your meds, schizo. You don't even know that f***ing guy. What do you mean stop abusing women and the disabled? Bitch, who are you? Also, the majority of men participate in abuse of disabled people. Are you okay? The majority of men are not abused.
Most people just throw the tag, as I just did, a majority, for the sake of making their argument correct without actually having to back anything up. It's an easy catch. It's almost like just throwing you're a fascist at them. They don't need to back it up. It's easy for them to just attack someone on Twitter, and they're probably not even going to reply back because it's literally fucking Twitter.
That is a very, very small minority of men. The majority of men are men that just wake up, take a shit, get out of bed, take a shower, go to work, come home, and wait for GTA 6 to come out. That is the majority of men.
See, now that's fantasy because we all know GTA 6 is not actually ever going to come out.
Men commit 95% of all rape, but okay.
Barging into the romance section of Barnes & Noble like, attention everyone! Rape! Where is that coming from?
So close, this is fetish content. Ah yes, the dirtiest, most taboo of all fetishes. A happy relationship. Honestly, in 2025, that might be true. Oh, you want a wife and kids? You sick fuck. But this is literally just a perverted fantasy, LMAO. You think it's a perverted fantasy because... How do I put this nicely? You are a pervert. Literally seeing a cute montage of a male and female character having fun together, being in love together, and being like, rape! He's a rapist!
That's the thing, people are so miserable nowadays, they confuse romance with literally fetishism.
This is a fetish! Are these people okay? Stop watching porn!
Wait, this is a woman.
Okay, stop reading Taken by the Werewolf Billionaire.
Or whatever the
Shades of
fuck
Grey.
you read.
I swear to God, some of the shit women read would make the most depraved internet gooner blush.
Or so I've been told. This is literally just a fetish.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna pretend there's nobody out there who's like, she can't run away, she has no legs. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend there's nobody out there who has a crippled, disabled fetish, okay? I've been on the internet for 20 years. I've been on DeviantArt.
I mean, sure, these people exist, but it's such a small fucking minority, they may as well not exist.
I've seen shit you wouldn't believe. But the majority of people, probably most, if not all the people responding to this, do not have a cripple fetish, okay? In fact, her being in a wheelchair basically has nothing to do with it. Much like how females coom over, like, vampires or, like I said before, the billionaire werewolf fantasy. This is just the average male fantasy distilled down to its most extreme. So what is the average male fantasy? The average male fantasy is the fantasy of both men and women alike. It is simply to love and to be loved. But more specifically, the male fantasy is to be a protector and a provider for those that they love. Put a pin in this because we are going to come back to this in a big way, trust me.
The average male fantasy is being a globally known terrorist. The average male fantasy is that a woman who isn't...
That is like someone's literally in a wheelchair and we're comparing this to being a terrorist. This is how demented these people actually are. And mind you, these people can vote. These people literally decide how your life looks like.
fat.
And yes, the average male fantasy is a woman who isn't fat, which is literally nowadays a fantasy, considering 2/3 of America is obese.
Average male fantasy is actually job security.
You know what? These guys may have a point here.
Also, yes, job security nowadays is a fantasy once again, because everything is just shit. It's impossible to get a normal job. And when you do get a normal job, it's most likely shit paid with no actual long-term things that you can look forward to. You're most likely going to get laid very quick, so it is a fantasy.
Pedophile alert. Men want disabled child wives. Average male fantasy is a disabled child. More proof that men are pedos. That's a little girl. This is weird.
So, first of all, she's literally older than the guy. The guy is 22 and she is 24.
None of that matters for them, and they never, that's all that needs to be said. They don't give a fuck about that.
In anime years, he is practically hag-maxing. And yes, she may be physically disabled, but aren't all men mentally disabled in their own special way? At least the ones in my audience. They will freely admit this. Maybe she, the older woman, is taking advantage.
It's not being mind-fucked, it's called being free to express yourself.
Of this sensitive young man. Have you ever thought of that?
She looks like an 11-year-old child. Where are her breasts?
First of all,
You can say that just about every single Asian girl in the world, so let's not go there.
really weird way to say that.
Also, in a way that is fetishizing itself.
She looks like a child. Show me her titties. Also, I love how, when
much.
anime women have huge boobs, it's disgusting, Coomer brain or whatever. But if the anime woman has small boobs, she is a child and you're a chimo. Can't fucking win. Also, if she had big boobs, they'd absolutely be like, wow, look at this sexualization of the disabled. Also, adult women can be flat-chested, right? That actually exists in real life. Adult human women can have small boobs.
But these women don't know that because they're so fucking fat, their tits are basically two big bellies.
We love all titties here on the Shoe0nHead channel. All titties is good titties. End of story.
Women fantasy. A boyfriend with depth and the loving, soft, deeply caring side of them. Men's fantasy.
Well, that's not women's fantasy according to literally best-selling books, which for women, number one is a billionaire love story, a werewolf billionaire, and a vampire billionaire. Notice how all of them have to do with money, not depth and love.
12-year-old anime girl who looks and speaks like a toddler. Also notice how she's literally the shape and size of a child. Yuck.
Have you people ever seen a child? No, you're all childless. Silly me. She's not even that short. She's just sitting. See, like when they're laying side by side, she's like a full-grown adult woman. Why do these people look at this and immediately think of child rape? Go to therapy. And listen, I know with anime it can get a little...
To be honest, living in California and being a therapist, you must be making so much fucking money nowadays.
weird, right? Like, excuse me, Poo Poo Pee Pee Chan is 2,000 years old and this is Poo Poo Pee Pee Chan. But this does not even look like a child. This looks like a cute woman. This is like a random rant, but I feel like there are no more cute women nowadays. You know what I mean? You have all like the Insta baddies, the e-thots, the e-girls, the muscle mommies, the boss babes, the boy babes. But I feel like every woman is just hot now. Which, by the way, I don't think is healthy for the male psyche whatsoever. You shouldn't wake up and be able to scroll through pictures of like the hottest woman you've ever seen in your life. Like,
I mean, that fucks up for both people because, I mean, the women are obviously going to be hot, and if they're hot, they're not going to just lower their standards for an average male. But if all of them are hot, then all are basically average. So it kind of skews this, like, the looks category. So something that's a 7 is now downgraded to, well, basically a 5, because if everyone's a 7, then everyone's really a 5. But then, in their mentality, they're not going to date someone that's actually a 5, so it just kind of fights one, like, it's not healthy.
Like 20 times before you've had like your morning cup of coffee. You shouldn't log in and immediately be one-shotted by 10 tens all day, as if that wouldn't make you go insane, as if that wouldn't make you crash out.
Yeah. And to add to that, you're most likely not even going to get a date because, well, according to Tinder, out of 100 swipes, you'll get 0.6. That's official data. So yeah, good luck.
Out. Like back in the day, you'd probably see like one fine dame on your bus ride to work, and you'd think about her for 40 years until the day you die.
And the irony is that you actually have higher chances of getting together with that one person on the bus than you do on Tinder with 100 different people who will swipe left on you anyway.
That's how it used to be. That's how it should be. Now every woman is like a crazy, hot, unobtainable Instagram goddess with the fattest of ass. Zoomers don't know how good we had it. You'd go to Blockbuster and the 21-year-old cashier behind the counter would be the most adorable woman you've ever seen. No Botox, no lip filler, just a pure soul, full of joy and whimsy. And now women are full of hate and SSRIs. But they're hot. They're hotter than they've ever been. They're hotter and more depressed than they've ever been in history. Sad. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, anime. I didn't take my Vyvanse today, could you tell?
Men's fantasy. A big titty woman with the face of a 16-year-old that is useful for cooking, cleaning, and sex. Women
They literally... Big titty women. Yeah, in this video, they're literally complaining that she has no tits. Make up your fucking mind.
Women's fantasy. Gets treated like a queen and a man who keeps tracks of our periods so he can take care of us.
I think I speak for a lot of women here when I say our fantasies do not, in fact, include men tracking our periods. Personally, if my husband was like, honey, just a reminder, you're in your luteal phase, I'm taking the kids.
Men like to pretend they want this, and then they beat their wife when dinner isn't ready or their son when he's misbehaving.
First of all, I'm sorry that happened to you, but there are in fact good
Yeah, that was too specific. That is definitely coming from the heart.
men out there. I've seen them. Some may be in this very audience. Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face. This is the Shoe0nHead audience. You're all gremlins.
Male fantasy equals a woman that can't run away from him. A woman that's dependent on him. Interesting. When men are involved, it's basic survival instinct to assume the worst. Men are guilty until they prove themselves innocent.
Jesus Christ, imagine going outside and thinking half of the fucking world is just guilty of something just because they're existing. That person has clearly been damaged and they need actual therapy before being allowed back on the internet.
You know what? I take my opinions back on free speech. I changed my mind. No more free speech. No more free speech until you bitches learn to behave.
A woman's fantasy is a man who won't rape her, and a man's fantasy is raping a woman.
I'm sorry, where is the rape, ma'am?
Maybe that's how you see it, because you're brainwashed to hate men.
So true. I hate how-
But in reality, women are the real demons here.
Oh, god damn it.
We just want a happy relationship. Is it so much to ask for?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh look, more misogynistic gooner fantasy slop written by misogynistic gooner men. This is why 70% of anime is garbage.
So, here's the thing. That, misogynistic gooner fantasy slop written by misogynistic gooner men was actually written by Saiko Tanabe, a woman. A woman wrote this story.
It does not matter who wrote the story as long as it makes them easily attackable on the internet. They won't give a fuck that it's written by a woman. It could be written by Kamala Harris herself. It does not fucking matter. It's said in the title that this is male fantasy. That's all that matters to these people. The end.
And I feel like a very important detail everyone is sleeping on when they covered this was the fact that this is very much the female fantasy as well. A man loving you for who you are despite your flaws, literally sweeping you off your feet and carrying you around on adventures, helping you live out your dreams, face your fears, and supporting you through the good and bad times.
What she just said is literally the entire plot of Titanic, in a way.
You're going to sit here and tell me that's not the female fantasy too? Is this not the basic female fantasy? Is this not the knight in shining armor coming to rescue you and falling in love with you? Why on
But these people don't want that story anymore. They're sick and tired of it. They want... I honestly don't even know what the fuck they want anymore, but it's clearly not actually a happy life.
earth are so many women so mad at this? Are men now the hopeless romantics? Are men
Yes.
now the ones yearning for a fairy tale romance? Is this why all the Disney remakes are like, she's not gonna be saved by the prince, she's a strong, independent woman?
And then they get 1-star review bombed, and the end.
Meanwhile, men still want to be the prince, men still want to be the knight in shining armor. Men are like, I will save you from your monotonous 9-to-5 job. I will give you a house and babies. And women are like, no, I must be an actuarial consultant. Be gone, vile misogynist. Is that what is occurring here?
The irony of it all is that they go get a job, and then they simply still listen to a man, but now that man is literally their boss, and ironically, it's harder to get away from that person than it is to get away from someone that you love, because if you just say to your boyfriend, well, I don't want to be with you anymore, bye. If you say that to your boss, well, you're not getting a paycheck anymore. So, I mean, you're still listening to a man at the end of the day, but this one actually loves you, and the other one doesn't give a fuck about you.
Also, that aside, there literally is a gender-swapped version of this story called Perfect World. It is a manga? Mango? I don't know. Do not come for me, weebs.
Men will statistically leave their wives and partners the moment they find out they're disabled or have a life-threatening condition. You're right, it is a fantasy.
That goes for both genders. It's literally just people are shit human beings, that's it.
Actually, that study was debunked by the authors themselves, who admitted they did the math wrong. It's actually not much higher, but then again, even if it was, and it happens, I've seen it happen to people, it's terrible. Marriage should be through sickness and through health, but that's not really the point here. And the fact that so many people are focusing on the wheelchair part of this just proves that they just don't get it. The ones of pure mind and pure soul get it, but these fucking semen demons out here, they don't get it. But not all semen demons.
The amount of people in comments who just don't get that men want a cute, loving girlfriend is beyond me. They call them creeps for wanting actual love and not a girl boss who only wants your money.
Ah, thank you, a sane person. Hopefully the replies aren't full of people calling her a pick-me.
Pick-me alert, least obvious pick-me. Me, pick me please. Hope he picks you, sis. Pick me. An incel could have written this.
It's a bit like when black people say not all white people, they get called Uncle Sam or whatever. This is the same shit. If you go up against them, they'll just call you a pick-me. It doesn't matter if you're correct. It's just a way of throwing dirt in your face.
Why are so many VTubers either pick-me's or racist?
You mean why do so many female VTubers disagree with you? Why so many aren't towing the mainstream liberal feminist NPC line?
If everyone disagrees with you, then there might be a problem with the actual logic that you're using. Because people tend to agree in pretty much with everything, or at least go 50-50. If everyone's saying your idea is fucking retarded, it probably is fucking retarded.
Because they can. See, the most powerful weapon women have against other women is social ostracization. You don't want to be seen as a pick-me or a racist, so you keep your mouth shut in order to survive in female social circles. But in the cases of VTubers, virtual YouTubers, they're basically anonymous. They can say anything they want. They're basically wearing a mask. They're free from the chains of the eternal HR Longhouse. But apparently, even being anonymous online does not save them, because they still get doxxed for simply not hating men. Lovely.
If you're doxing a VTuber, you seriously need to get help. They're VTubers for a reason. They don't want to get doxed. They don't want anything with their real life being mixed online, which is partly why they are VTubers.
Maybe I should save this rant for a different video someday. Moving on.
Men are why we can't have nice things, by the way.
First of all, men make all the things. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, I just realized it was a man saying that. It was a whole-ass man saying men are why we can't have nice things. I don't deserve this trophy. This is for you, sir. This is for you. I'm not worthy. Listen, I make women jokes. I'm very critical of feminism and propaganda aimed at women. But you will never catch me in a million years saying some shit like women are why we can't have nice things. I have a mom. I have female family members. I have female friends. Maybe one day I'll have a daughter. Women make the world a beautiful place, and like men, can be flawed and deserve criticism, like anyone else. But there's something genuinely so cucked about people who put down their own gender or race. Oh god, race. Self-hating white people. Don't get me started on self-hating white people. White people are so evil. I hate being white. White people can't dance. White people food is so gross.
The majority of these people that hate white people and are white people tend to come from left-wing medias. Well, the left-wing sphere overall, because I mean, what is left-wing? Left-wing is basically, we are diverse, we are black, we are gay, we are yada yada yada. But you will never hear them saying anything good about white. So over time, it just kind of develops in their head that, hey, if everything is good, but there is no mention of white, then white must be bad. And so to stay within their little circle, the fucking bubble of leftism, they have to agree that, well, white is bad, white is horrible, I hate being white. And when you ask them why, they'll just say some stupid shit like colonialism, which happened like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But then they go and talk about Israel and Palestine and then support, like, whatever.
You're not getting into Wakanda, bro. You're not getting invited to the cookout. Enough. But yeah, women were not the only ones who had a problem with this. There were a lot of men who didn't quite relate to this being the average male fantasy.
It's fine to love the disabled. I didn't need to remind you that. But to glorify it? This anime is certainly Marxist propaganda. The movie is about him taking a job as her caretaker, and when he learns of her dreams, he makes it his mission to help her dreams come true. So it is Marxist propaganda to help a disabled person pursue their dreams?
Yes.
Yeah, it's woven in. Empathy is the target of propaganda.
Marxism is when girl in wheelchair. I love this. Empathy is the target of propaganda. Every piece of media that makes you feel
So according to them, when you help someone, you're a Marxist. Nice. I guess everyone here is a Marxist.
empathy is communism. Political brain rot. If you're at the point where you see this and you're thinking of communism, you need to log off. You are unwell.
I'm sorry, but when I reproduce, I don't want a high probability of my offspring being mentally or physically retarded. We need a better class of incels whose bar is higher than the retarded.
She's not retarded, she has a spinal injury that's not genetic. Also, what is this LARP? I love how everyone is just kind of having like a normal conversation about this clip, and this guy just comes out of nowhere like, I would never put my pure white seed in such a vile creature. Like, you absolutely know this guy has a non-white girlfriend. They all do. All these like I hate white people women always have white boyfriends. All these I hate non-white people boys always have non-white girlfriends. I don't know what it is, but I've seen it too many times. I guarantee you when this man logs off of his Black Sun Roman statue Twitter account, he's clapping Latina booty cheeks.
My fantasy is not being a simp, but okay.
Fellas, is it simping to love a woman?
Nah, this is not the male fantasy. That man is a beta male. If she wasn't in a wheelchair, she would leave him for Chad.
Fellas, is it beta to love a woman?
This is not my fantasy. This is some gay shit, to be honest.
Fellas, is it gay to love a woman?
What
Well, depends on the woman.
no pussy does to a motherfucker.
Brother, I've seen what pussy does to a motherfucker, and it's far worse.
The average male fantasy is taking care of their crippled wife. I don't think I've ever had that fantasy before. I thought it was gonna be about going on some quest to kill the dragon to win the princess or something.
It is. That is the average male fantasy. But there are no dragons to slay. There are no princesses to save. But there is that little old lady in the grocery store who can't quite reach that top shelf. There's that heavy box the pretty girl you work with can't quite lift herself. There's that jar of tomato sauce your wife can't quite open. There's that Lego set your little son can't quite put together himself. Or there is this paraplegic girl who wants to see the ocean. This is the Princess and the Dragon story. And despite what many are told, men do have a lot of love to give. And they want some kind of excuse or mechanism to show that love. In a world where men expressing themselves is either seen as toxic or gay. And one way of expressing that love is solving problems. Men fucking love solving problems. I don't know what it is. They also love reading Wikipedia articles. The amount of times I walked over and my husband is reading a random fucking Wikipedia article about like the world's tallest buildings or like a random battle in World War II. I didn't know if this was autism or what, but apparently it's a man thing.
No, it used to be Wikipedia and Reddit. Now, I mean, we just got shorts and Instagram and TikTok and shit, so we don't really need that. I mean, just go on Instagram and you'll find some random shit from World War II that'll teach you more than your history teacher ever will.
Anyway, yes, men love solving problems. And in a world that makes them feel useless, makes them feel like they have no purpose, men desperately feel like they need to prove their worth. They are desperately looking for a purpose in life. So it is not at all shocking to me that the modern young man is seeing a clip like this and longing for this. A lot of modern men don't have a chance to prove themselves, to make something of their lives. They don't have a chance to provide anything for anyone.
I mean, most don't even qualify to have a relationship with today's standards, so of course they're longing for it, and in a way it is a fantasy to be in love, but it's never actually gonna happen for the majority of people nowadays.
Because they don't have anything to provide, and they don't have anyone. They are doing everything their
Yeah, they don't have anyone, which is why they turn to fucking anime.
grandfathers did, but seeing none of the results. They're lost. What can they provide? And as I said earlier, her being in a wheelchair is the protector and provider instinct taken to a extreme. And yes, it is a fantasy, considering if you ask anyone who's actually in a wheelchair, they know it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and they know that it's hard on relationships. It can be difficult on their partner. But just like in the movie, it's not shown as butterflies and rainbows. Josie feels like a burden. But towards the end of the movie, the guy takes on that burden. Not because he gets something in return, but because it's his duty. Because it makes her happy, which makes him happy in return. Loyalty, duty, virtue, acts of service, big or small.
None of these things matter nowadays. All that matters is, are you rich? Are you tall? If not, you can go fuck yourself. You're not gonna get to this duty, the loyalty and all that stuff, because you're not even gonna get your first date. So of course people are longing for it. Because now something that used to be basic is basically not basic anymore.
And live for that shit. And yes, these are stereotypes. Not everyone fits into these boxes, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, it's true. When many men look at this relationship, that is what they see. And a lot of modern women are looking at this relationship and being disgusted because, in a way, it's the complete inverse of the strong, independent woman they've been sold. They've been told they need to be. The modern woman crafted by modern Disney for modern audiences. Unlike the Hollywood-crafted modern woman, this woman does need her man. She is not strong and she's not independent, at least physically.
The concept of strong, independent women has fucked our society to an incredible level. Yes, women privilege and freedom, all that stuff. But not every woman needs to be a fucking boss babe queen making 500,000 a year.
This doesn't mean she's like an empty vessel with no thoughts or freedom. No, in fact, in the movie, Josie does roll away from him a few times. It is a fantasy not because of a power imbalance, but because the man has a tangible purpose, and the woman is willingly and lovingly letting him fulfill that purpose.
Because I can depend on you. I know that if I ever feel frightened, I can just reach out to you.
Men simply want something good to die for, to make it beautiful to live. This manifests in a lot of ways, but the most common...
That is a good point. Men will put up with a lot of bullshit if it means they can actually leave a legacy, even if it's a small one. That's why it's easier, like, why you hear about men rather dying in a war than dying in a 9-to-5 job. If they feel like their life meant something, they're happy to put up with absolute bullshit for years and years. But if they cannot even prove themselves, then, I mean, what's the point in living?
Is having a loving partner and or a family. Something unobtainable to many people nowadays. So yes, literally one of the most normal things ever is becoming a fantasy. Sad. Yeah. Also, men will deny this, but they absolutely have a biological clock. It may not hit in your teens or your 20s, but one day you're going to have a dream. You have a little daughter making you pancakes with your wife in the morning, and you're not going to be able to get it out of your head.
See, that's fantasy. That is actual fantasy. Thinking you're going to just settle down, have a wife and kids nowadays when, I mean, the birth rate around the world is like 1.1 average. And yeah, good luck with that.
And that is the male biological clock. Everything you do, the money you make working that grating 9-to-5 job, it will all be for something.
Yes, there is technically a male clock as well, because let's say you're 50 years old. Yeah, you'll have people say, oh, just move to like Philippines or some shit, get yourself a 20-year-old. But that's not really going to be a relationship. That's just, it's fake. They're not there with you because they love you. They're with you because you have money, right? And what happens if you do not have money? Well, you're going to stay single. And if you're single, I mean, you're not going to have kids. There's no 20-year-old nowadays is going to fucking deal with a 50-year-old. Come on, this isn't the middle ages, unless you're like Jeff Bezos rich.
Bigger and more important than yourself one day. You will come home to a warm and happy home, greeted by people who care about you, and love you, and rely on you, and everything will make sense then. Until then, you'll just be on the internet, being called a misogynist, for wanting something bigger and more important than yourself, for wanting something beautiful and normal. And that is the average male fantasy. That and 3 hot chicks at once. Hell yeah, brother. Haha, you know what I'm saying? So that was that little video. Men in the comments, let me know. Am I correct? Is that the average male fantasy? Or is it not that deep? Men and women in the comments, what is your fantasy? And no, I don't mean that. I don't want to hear about how you want to be crushed by a 12-foot futa. That is between you and God, not you and Shoe0nHead. I mean, what is your ultimate dream? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want a nice big family one day? Do you want to own a farm? Do you want to live in a shed in the woods and make pipe bombs? Let me know in the comments and I will see you soon with a new video.
Yeah, basically all of these are fantasies. Like trying to get a house nowadays, it's pretty much impossible unless you strike it big or become like a celebrity or some shit, right? But yeah, I mean, is this the average male fantasy by Shoe0nHead? So thank you for watching.